wire workers. So you may have noticed that with wire jewelry, we have a lot of little pieces. We have some beads and tiny wire. And you may be asking yourself, how am I going to keep this all organized and clean and not making it a big old mess? Well, I'm here for you. I got some tips, tricks, and creative ways, and also on the cheap, how to keep your craft room looking neat and clean. So let's get started. So I'm going to start off with talking about how you kind of have to get creative with organization. You know, if you look at jewelry organizational type of things, like if you do a Google search for that, you're going to get some really great things, but they're also going to be very expensive. And so to save some money, I actually looked into how to organize cables and heavy-duty wires and things like that, and I found some really interesting tools. I found on eBay for $5, there were these plastic containers that have slits all the way down on the sides, and you can put a lid on it. It's meant for big cables, like for laptops and things like that, but you can totally use them for wire jewelry. You can put the little wire spools in between, and you can just have your perfect cord coming out, so you can just keep it all organized in a little neat container. Next up, I have some upcycling awesome ideas for you. So instead of throwing out your little salt and pepper shakers and other types of spices containers, these work great for keeping your organization of your beads. And because they have kind of different tops, you know, like you can pour out a lot of spice at once or maybe just a little bit. This also works great for when you're organizing your beads and you only want a couple of beads or maybe you want a handful. And you can still keep them on your spice rack, just put it in your craft room instead. So I love the Container Store, and when I was in the Container Store the other day, I saw this hanger that has a couple of bars on it, and you're supposed to hang over your pants on it. And instead of doing that, you can actually just hang it up in your closet and put all your spools of wire or maybe your jewelry beads that are on a long strand, and you can hang your jewelry that way and keep everything neat and organized. So who doesn't love going to Home Depot? Every once in a while I'll go there and check out what's going on in the tools section, and there's these great hardware desk drawer things that you can just put on top of your desk, and they have clear plastic little tiny drawers meant for nails and other little hardware type of things, but you can totally use these for beads. And I would highly recommend getting one of these because they are clear and you can see what you got. You can organize by color, shape, or texture. With this, I would like to recommend with any type of little drawer modules that you got going on, definitely put tape on the outside, say, this is my blue bead container, or whatever you want to say, and say how much it cost you. And as a bonus, you can also add where you bought it from if you need to rebuy it. Number 5 this is all about using old Tic Tac containers. Again, another upcycling type of idea. And it's really great for tiny beads, and you can stack them all in a drawer together, again, keeping them completely, color-coded or style-coded, whatever works best for you. And on the front where it says Tic Tac, you can again add the labels, what type of bead this is, where you bought it, and how much it cost you. And these will fit great in any type of drawer of your craft room or on your desk, and they look really pretty, and they don't cost you hardly anything. So if you're like me, I have a lot of blank CDs laying around when we were all burning CDs for each other and making cool music playlists. Yeah, we don't really do that anymore, but I do have a bunch of them laying around, and I have those containers, those round spool containers that CDs come in. And those work great for storing ribbon and wire. So I wanted to pass on this tip to you guys, and you can totally stack your wire on top of each other. And again, it's clear, so you can see what you got, know the materials you have on hand, and it keeps everything neat and clean. So here's another upcycling tip for you, and it's all about using hooks or those awesome shower curtain hooks. They don't cost you like hardly anything, and you can attach them to anywhere. And you can add a whole bunch of the strands of beads, by color, shape, or texture. You can have them hanging on the back of your craft room or anywhere. You can hang them up away from you, get them out of the way, hang them on the wall. And it's great so you can see what you got. I'm super visual. I need to see all the materials I have exactly on hand. If you put them in a drawer, I'm going to forget and I'm going to rebuy everything, and that's a waste of money. So as long as you do that, you'll know exactly what you got. For those of you who are not really interested in beading and wire jewelry making all the time, and you just want to kind of do it casually and, you know, kind of keep it like that, you can always use your beads and your small supplies in an egg carton container. And you can organize them just like, you know, put each little silver, gold, and all those kinds of beads in their own little container. Keep your little wires in there, and it's also great for on the go if you're going to craft for friends at another person's house or travel or something like that. This makes a great case for it. So I've used mason jars in a lot of my videos for displaying my tools, and of course you can use them for displaying all of your beads and wires. I really like them because they're pretty to look at already, and mason jars come in tons of different kinds of shapes, sizes, and colors. So it also makes your craft look really pretty, and you know, it's just, I really like it. So try it out. All right, so one of my big addictions is food trucks. I go to one almost every night, and I always get those little containers, those little tiny plastic containers that have like sriracha, hot sauce, or maybe some onions or things like that to add to tacos. Well, what you can do is you can save those tiny plastic containers, throw on a magnet to the back of it, and add your beads inside and hang them on the wall. I love this idea. It really is cost effective and it looks beautiful, and you would never have guessed that these little plastic containers are sauce. And you know, it just works great to keep everything out off the table and onto the wall. You have a lot of room on your walls. Think about how you can utilize it to the best of your abilities. So to sum up what we learned today, it's all about organization, keeping it clean, and that doesn't mean that you have to spend a lot to do it. So I hope you enjoy these tips, and of course you can always tweet me or send me a link in the comments below. Tell me how you organize your craft room. Let me know about it. Can't wait to hear from you. Do use high-end materials. Maybe when you're starting out, of course, like I've mentioned before, don't start with, you know, some gold or silver. But when you're working with copper, make sure it's a high quality copper and that it's coated really nicely.